But I want to start off a little bit, Amanda. You know, we don't shy away from hot takes here on Relate or anything like that. So I kind of want to start us off with a little hot topic, um, so to speak. So in the Catholic world, we're kind of it's an interesting situation, especially when it comes to finances, right? Most Catholics either don't have financial experience or have Protestant or secular financial experience, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Um, but they mix it with kind of a Catholic worldview, a little bit of a much more traditionalist approach when it comes to finances and marriage and stuff like that. I know we were talking in the back of stage, right, about the pandemic of, well, my wife needs to be a stay-at-home mom, and I'm going to somehow provide for my family in the world of 2026 on a theology degree, right, or whatever. And this is coming from someone with a history degree, right? So I get it. Um, so I'm curious if we could just like address, I mean, that kind of that kind of thought, right? When it comes to, okay, this is the only way to do finances in a traditional Catholic marriage and stuff like that. I was wondering if you had any thoughts on that type of approach.
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of thoughts on it. And it's something that has garnered a lot of empathy in me over the last 5 to 7 years because the financial reality for a lot of young couples has shifted so dramatically.
Mm,
I think the more economic studies come out, they're saying that it's like 8 times more expensive just to get started in life. Those first initial milestones of graduate, get your first job, buy your first home, welcome your first child, of course, get married. Like it's 8 times more expensive than it used to be. And
mm,
although people are making more money than they ever have been making, they're just sitting there bewildered, scratching their heads, wondering why it feels so tight. I'm
mm,
having multiple six-figure earners coming to me, not understanding how they can make this less stressful.
mm,
So if people making six figures are coming to me freaking out and panicking and sweating, I really feel for the young 23-year-old couple that met in college. They both went to a private Catholic college. They took out student loans. They're married, and one of them does have that theology degree, and then they are expecting a baby and they want somebody to stay home, but they have $150,000 in student loans, and rent is what it is now, and
right.
childcare is what it is now. And they're asking us how we can make the math. And I am
Mm,
sitting here like, it doesn't work anymore. Like, without a radical departure or creative solution from your current reality of
mm,
either you need to be open to two people working, possibly one working from home, or the husband needs to find a different path for his career.
mm,
Because if your dream is to be open to life, to have the whole gaggle of kids, 6 kids, 8 kids in the minivan, you just have to be more prepared for what that number looks like. And that number is probably going to look like between 100 and $200,000 by the time you welcome all of those kids into your home. So getting ahead of that and just mentally knowing what it is that you want to work towards, how you want to prioritize your vocation and your family growth.
mm,
And then you start with the end in mind and you begin designing a career path for your family in whatever arrangement you desire to do that, that supports that dream that you have together, if that
mm,
makes sense.
sure.
That is what is required now for young couples to make things happen. 10, 20 years ago, you kind of could just do a couple of things, save money by doing these hacks, maybe talk to the boss, get a raise, possibly get one side hustle, and you can kind of make it work and patch it
Right.
together. That is gone now because
Mm,
of inflation and all of the things. So winging it, the days of winging it are gone. And just good financial stewardship is what we're all called to. And we were always all called to it. But now it's just not an option. We all have to commit to really becoming that disciple of the Lord who handles money with integrity and with
mm.
virtue. And the good news is that when we start doing that, a lot of peace will follow and the numbers kind of begin to take care of themselves as you're taking those smart steps with finances.
Sure, sure. Yeah, no, I think it's, and specifically about, right, this that thought of, right, the single income earner is has to be it has to be the way, and my wife is sitting home making sour bread all day and taking care of the kids, and that thought process. I'm curious, like, because you talk to Catholic married couples all the time. I mean, that's your job to talk to them about finances. I'm curious, like, which one, like, is it the woman or the man who usually is the one struggling the most when it comes to, right, maybe having to adjust their how their dreams are coming about, if that makes sense,
Mm.
right? Um, yeah.
Yeah, I would say it manifests differently for men and women. I would say a lot of men are coming to us feeling like failures. They are feeling like they can't keep up, and then their wives or their fiancés or even their girlfriends, are following a couple people on Instagram where the husband is just this like alpha guy pulling in 500K, just like flying her around the world, cleaning lady every day, like laundry service is being done. And they're just sitting here feeling like they don't measure up and they're just never going to. And so that is a real insecurity
Mm,
and fear that a lot of men are grappling with, even though they're working really hard. Um, and then women, I would say, because women oftentimes associate money with security
mm,
and for provision, and we can feel panicked if we feel like there isn't going to be enough. And women oftentimes are the first ones to notice if there is a problem, because the way that God designed women, we're the heart of the home. And so we see when somebody needs shoes and I need to go out and buy those shoes and I can't buy those shoes, we're the first ones to kind of run it up the flagpole that there's
sure.
something going on here. We're going to be the first ones to notice, even if we're not the one maybe making most of the money or any of the money. Women will notice first.
Mm,
And so there's that insecurity that a lot of women are feeling. And sometimes, they don't necessarily know how to bring it up with their husband. They don't want to make him feel less like he's not providing. It's creating a little bit of a dance for couples. And
yeah,
so often we actually have a marriage prep class that some dioceses are even using, and we even encourage newlyweds to use it to just get on the same financial page and to disarm some of those really vulnerable conversations where you can safely voice some of these fears and insecurities and wounds, because all of us even have financial wounds from our past, maybe things we saw growing up or mistakes we made that we just haven't maybe processed. And we like to teach couples how to do that in a safe way that's going to respect both parties and actually have it be something that brings you closer together instead of just kind of endlessly floating farther apart,
sure.
because it does happen. And you mentioned earlier, money is one of the causes of divorce. And so while most Catholic couples are not pursuing divorce as kind of the first path, money is up there as one of the most irritating and frustrating parts of their marriages.
Sure.
And we like to help make that a less painful area.